This is the issue, though. Now I gotta do that. Now it's paused. And this might not work over here. This really probably will not work because something's wrong with the DC digital. That's not good. Even saying stop. Okay. I don't think it's going to work. I know what you're thinking out there. Another game night already? But it's the end of July, beginning of August, which means school's back in session soon. So my friends, who are mostly teachers, and I would like to have one last hurrah of a game night before we start back our normal schedule again. In my last video about setting up the game room for game nights, I focused a lot more on cleaning up, putting furniture away, and basic setup of games and testing. That's great and all. What you didn't see is all the other games I put out that night that didn't work when I tried to get them to work. So I wanted to bring you through the pain, again, of taking this room and getting it ready for a game night. Just the games only though. We'll ignore all that silly stuff like vacuuming and moving furniture around. That won't take us very long anyways. Now for this evening, I've decided that I want to bring out Typing of the Dead. One of my favorite Dreamcast games I didn't know I needed. Let's go grab those keyboards real quick. Now we got our two keyboards here. I do have my copy of Typing of the Dead over there. We're going to play on the big screen here, which means we'll need to move that modded Dreamcast off the shelf and in front of the TV so we can access it. We can move this over here. Okay, so we got our Dreamcast set up right there. That's no problem. The issue is, and the only issue I found with the GDEMU and my modded Dreamcast, is that the other controllers like maracas won't be recognized on boot up. So I still have to put a controller in there, select the game, then plug the keyboards in. And we'll just make sure the keyboards will work. And if they work, I'm probably just going to leave it on. Gotta figure out what input the Dreamcast goes on. Grab these keyboards, because they like both work and don't work. That's the fun part about them. We've had issues with them probably forever. And it's probably something I'm doing wrong. But even when I do like a dry boot up with this, with everything correctly plugged in where it should be, it still betrays me a lot, so I'm going to try to do this. Where is Typing of the Dead? Am I stupid? Don't answer that. There it is. You know what it was? The Typing of the Dead. Didn't you know? Do that. Do this. Quickly. One more. Okay, I'm hoping that'll solve all our problems. I'm also going to crank the HDR down on this because that was so saturated last time. Yes. Samba didn't even look like, he looked like he was just red. He was completely red. It's like, isn't it monkey a little bit brown? It's like, no, just completely red. So that was weird. What the heck? No, we're good. We don't need all that. Oh, see, this is the problem. I don't want to short these things out. I don't want to do that. So now, swap it back out, and this is where things go wrong every single time. I have to start swapping things over and over again. Okay, that one works. Yep, gotcha. So far, this keyboard in port 2 seems to be working no problem. And like I said, if I get this working right now, it's going to stay on all night long. That's going to be, oh no. It's just going to keep being a thing, isn't it? Exit. Why aren't you exiting? Where's L for back? No, I don't want this to be... oh, no. Okay.
Only just press enough buttons.
Sure, press enough buttons, you win eventually. I think both keyboards are actually functioning right now. I'm almost sure they're both functioning, so if they are, we're going to go with it. And again, this is why I'm trying to do this now, because...
oh, no. It's going to keep happening.
Oh, no. We might not be able to use this Dreamcast. I'm not sure why it just keeps coming up over and over again. I might have to send this out for service or something. I don't know what it's... no, I don't want you to do this. This would be a horrible video. What? No, I don't want any of this stuff. It's always something, isn't it? So we can't use our modded Dreamcast because the DC digital just keeps coming up. Just want to point out the risks of when you do modified systems. This is a DC digital HDMI mod for the Dreamcast along with the GDEMU mod. Now, this has never really happened before. It happened once in a while, but it goes away. Essentially, there's a setup menu you have to go into to get the DC digital work into what you want. That's fine and all. Unfortunately, for some reason, it just keeps coming on and on and on, and I can't get it to go away. So right now, this is a very, very expensive Dreamcast that was modded professionally is pretty much worthless for this evening. We can't use it, period. I've tried a whole bunch of different things to make it work, and it is just not happening. The only thing I can do is hopefully I kept a HDMI to Dreamcast AV converter cable around here somewhere, and I can try to hook it up to the TV that way. Otherwise, kind of useless. Very frustrating. And this is what you really don't see in the game nights, is you don't see all the frustration leading up to it. I've dumped about a half hour into this so far, and I've gotten nowhere. I can't send pictures. I can't do anything, and it's extremely frustrating right now. And this is a part of the game nights that really no one sees. As a last-ditch effort to make this work, I've gone through and I reset the entire DC digital board, and hopefully it works. The big issue isn't, the HDMI out. The big issue is that screen pops up in the middle, and you can't get rid of it. It's dead center, and it's the worst thing ever. It's so bad. So we're going to try plugging the keyboards back in. My hypothesis is that somehow the keyboards are triggering that to work, and I don't know why. So we'll see if that is the actual case in a second here. There's obviously a lot more buttons on a keyboard than a Dreamcast controller, and I think that might have something to do with it, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. Did I find House of the Dead 2? Yeah, we got that. Oh, that's House of the Dead 2. Did I do something wrong? I didn't...
did you put the... and there it goes.
And there it goes again. So we can officially either not use this Dreamcast, or we have to go find an HDMI converter. So I'm going to power this down before I lose my mind, and because I'm definitely getting very, very frustrated with that. I'm going to go into the supply room over here. Now this is the hard part, is one of these is cables, and one of these is controllers. It looks like more controllers than well, just probably both. Let's see what we can find. No, PlayStation. Nope. That's no Dreamcast output. Nope. Is that Dreamcast? Doesn't look like it. Maybe it is. I don't know. The worst part was this was organized. Oh, remember I couldn't find my Dreamcast extension cables? I had to go buy them.
Ah, they're right there.
I went through this bag already. I swear they're hiding it from me. That's the VGA box. That won't work. Nope. In fact, I'm almost debating not making this content, but it is showing the struggles of what's going on down here. I don't know if I have an HDMI converter. I might have to go run to the store and buy one. Nope. 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 So this is it. If it's not in here, I don't have it anymore. That was one of the most frustrating experiences I think I've ever had trying to get things working down here for a game night. That's why I started so early. Now, we cut out most of the video. In fact, we completely changed games altogether. Originally, Type Into the Dead was going over here. That has now been changed to this game, actually. Since we're all a bunch of old heads, we decided to pick up NES Championship or World Championship. So we'll get into that tonight, which is good. But man, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Every backup plan I had didn't work. Nothing was functional. It was a mess. It was a nightmare. And I think it came across pretty clear in the beginning of this video. That's exactly what it was. It was an absolute unfun time trying to make it work. And it was frustrating for me and my wife, but we stopped, we put everything down, and we said, let's come back to it later, and we'll figure out a solution from there. The funny thing was, while we were discovering that none of the Dreamcast stuff was working, and the DC mod was going wrong and everything else, we also found out the water tube that drains water out of the air conditioner was overflowing and flooding the basement out over there. So it's never a dull moment. Anyways, we're ready for game night. I'll have music on the PS5 at first, and that's okay. Later on, though, we'll go to NES Championship Edition, and we'll probably end up playing with the Wii U, and probably a bunch of VR. Everyone loves VR, and so do I. The good news is that my Dreamcast that didn't work last week took a small cleaning, and now is functioning just fine. So I put over here one of my favorite shooting games, Confidential Mission for the Dreamcast. Over on our Plasma, we have some Tekken 6, and finally over here on our Xbox Original, we have the House of the Dead 3 with this gigantic silent scope. It's crazy. It also has that kind of cool kickback effect. Now, no matter what happened with that Dreamcast, we're going to have fun down here. I just try to bring up unique, fun experiences for everyone to enjoy, and when it doesn't go right, it's kind of sad. I know everyone's going to have a great time getting together and playing games, but man, I'm kind of bummed about that. I reached out to the person who modded that system, a very competent person, very good at what he does, and he's going to have to take a look at that much later date. Probably send it off to him in a couple weeks or so to get it fixed. But despite all these major setbacks today, and I mean major setbacks, an hour of trying to make a Dreamcast work, we're still ready to go for game night. I hope everyone has a great time. Just remember, if you want to host something like this, try to prepare, because if it can go wrong, it will go wrong at the worst possible time.